Hey everyone, it's Emily. Today's video is going to be my December wrap-up. I'm going to be talking to you about the books that I finished this month, because finishing is the right word because I started a lot of books but didn't finish a lot of books. It happens. So let me go through the books that I did finish. The first one is going to be an audiobook, so I'm going to put it on the screen. I finished Jemna by Kaufman and J. Christoph, I think. It's the second book in the Illuminate File series, and I was recommended to listen to it as an audiobook, which I think was probably a mistake. I feel like it's a very visual book because there's so many like files and emails, and as an audiobook, interview type of books are good, but I feel like whenever it's emails, like constantly being told like the email address and the date and stuff kind of gets a little redundant. And I had a few issues, even though there was a cast of characters like talking and there was some music and everything, I feel like kind of some of the dialogues were a little cringy to hear out loud by adults, like since it was like white kind of flirting conversations. It was a little awkward, secondhand embarrassment there. Plus, whenever there would be like a swear word, they would be like cut off, and it was really annoying at one point. So kind of was disappointed with this one. The story overall was good. I don't think it was as good as the first one, and I ended up, I don't know if it was the audiobook that made me feel like that, but kind of a little bit bored. I feel like there was so much conversation between actually anything interesting in the story that even the interesting bits weren't enough like to make it like a redeeming qualities for me to just want to continue. Did that make sense? But I know there's a third book coming out next year, and I don't think I will be picking it up because I just don't think I'm into that story anymore. It seemed like a completely different story, not linked to the first book until the end, and I wasn't feeling it basically. So yeah, I believe I gave it 3 stars. It was okay, just wasn't as good as the first one, basically. One of the things I was excited to finish this month was the Grisha Trilogy. I had read Shadow and Bone this year, not last month, but like pretty recently, and I was so surprised by it. It made it to my most surprising books of 2017, which I recommend watching if you haven't seen it. But basically, in that world, what I was fascinated about is the magic system mostly. And I was intrigued to see where the story was going to be. Basically, it's definitely the like chosen one that has to defeat, you know, the evil people. There were too many love triangles. It's not even a love triangle. It's like one girl and like 4 guys after her. And she's one of those like oh so plain main character that it's like, okay, we get it. Apparently she's hot somehow. She's attracting everyone. So it kind of got a little boring there. And to be perfectly honest, it's not really a spoiler because I'm not going to name any names, but she ends up with someone that I was kind of disappointed that she ended up with. Do people agree? Like, if you have read this trilogy, are you happy with who she ended up with? Because I was kind of like, really? Really? Like, I understand the writing was making it look like that's what was going to happen, but I expected more. And overall, even though I loved the world, I was kind of disappointed with the story. What it ended up being about, like basically her trying to find things to be able to, you know, fight the evil. And it was kind of a little just boring being the right word, I guess. I expected more from it. I wanted more, even though I know everyone was saying that this trilogy in general is kind of disappointing compared to the Six of Crows duologies. So I am planning on reading that in 2018. You're going to see that in my top 18 books that I want to read in 2018. So a little disappointed with this. I ended up giving these two, I believe, 3 stars, 3.5, 3. The first book I ended up giving 4 stars. So I did enjoy that one more. I still liked it. I still would recommend it, but I don't think your expectations should be too high. So it's a good fantasy series, YA fantasy series, but there was a few things that I feel like could have been done better. I finally received, in the beginning of the month, this book, which, how long did I wait for this book? Literally 2 months? So this is The Last Town by Blake Crouch. It's the last book in the Wayward Pines series, where the first book is Pine, actually. I have the trilogy right here. So this is the first book, Pines, and then you have Wayward, and then the last book, which is The Last Town. And this is a sci-fi thriller book, which I can't mention too much about the last book because there's kind of a huge twist in the first one, and that's going to determine if you want to continue the series or not. Which in my case was like, hell yeah, give me the whole series, and I had to wait so long. I was such in a slump because I couldn't read this one. Got lost in the mail for 2 months. But I just wanted to say that I really liked how it ended. The TV show is similar until the second season, but not exactly the same. The books are so much better, and I'm much happier with the ending of the series than I was with the TV show. So we're gonna leave it at that. I did talk about it in my best of, so if you want to hear more about it, I will link that. I also finished a nonfiction, which I feel like I haven't read enough of this year, but I finished So You've Been Publicly Shamed by Jon Ronson. And I feel like this is something that could interest a lot of different people, because it's about people that tweeted, for example, something that they probably shouldn't have. Something that people got really offended about, which in some cases I completely understand. Sometimes it was taken like basically lots of drama. And I feel like nowadays everyone kind of feels that fear a little bit, that what if, you know, my joke is taken really badly. I feel like I feel this a lot with YouTube, with this channel, my beauty channel. I feel like I'm always feeling like I need to be careful, and it gets really exhausting, and people will twist whatever you say no matter what. So at the end of the day, kind of doesn't matter. But this was interesting also to just see how different was the reaction afterwards, depending on how the person was reacting. And also if it was a woman or a man. I feel like women, the attacks were like very sexual, and the men, it was like going after their jobs, for example. So it was interesting. The only thing is I feel like it got a little repetitive, and some bits were less interesting, I suppose. Could have been edited a little bit better, I think. But overall, I think it's a very interesting concept if it's something that interests you, and it's something that's like a lot of people can relate to right now. I would give this one a shot. I gave this one a 4-star, I believe. So great read. I feel like I need to read more from this author. We'll see what else you did, because I've heard, I believe there's one about psychopaths. So I'll definitely check that one out. And last but not least, the last book I finished was this one, The Hobbit by Jrr Tolkien. And I say finish, and I'm lying there a little bit, kind of. I DNF'd it. I tried also the audiobook, and I did put this in my most disappointing books of 2017 because I wanted to love this so much. I love Lord of the Rings. It's like one of my all-time favorite fantasy series, and I had no issue with the writing being quite long and descriptive, but in this case I kind of got bored. I know it's targeted towards children, but I just couldn't do it. I got to the part where like there's a dragon, which like, hell yeah, there's a dragon. I want to read that, but I couldn't do it. And the audiobook was very intense. It was the BBC dramatization, I think, and I had trouble like recognizing voices in that one, and like they had all like pretty thick accents, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it, so I decided to not torture myself and try and finish it. But I expected this to be like an all-time favorite for me, but I feel like some people might love it as much as they do because it's more like nostalgia. They read this as a kid, which I didn't. Very disappointed. I really thought I was going to like this. And you might notice, Emily, you only finished like 6 books this month, which I know. It's kind of low for me, but I'm in the middle, almost done with 2 other books, and I wanted to try and finish them, but today we're the last day of the year, and there's no way I'm finishing those while filming the videos that I need to film, editing them, and then like I have to go somewhere tonight. So like, we're okay. We're gonna count them next year. So this was my last wrap up of the year. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comment section what books you finished this month, if you thought they were worth it or not. Have you read any of those? Do you have similar, different opinions? It's always great to hear them. I will be putting on the screen some other videos that I've done. If you haven't checked those out, I highly recommend you do so. Talking is hard today. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss any future videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.